history's embrace. Captain's quarters sets the pace with Captain Mayhem at the helm. A voyage of knowledge, a story to round. Captain's quarters weekly delight, where history's treasures take flight. Led by Mayhem, Longwood, and Joe, they explore the past, row by row. Navigator Longwood charts the course, guiding listeners to knowledge's source. Cartographer Joe, with maps in hand, unveils the secrets of time.
Hey, welcome to Captain's Quarters Podcast, episode 185. We're really getting up there in the numbers there. And it is May 12th. And welcome to Captain's Quarters Podcast. As always, we need to show everybody how they can find us. How do we do that, Davey?
Rotten. I'm sorry. Not this is not. I said Instagram's being a. All right.
Yeah, it is a problem, isn't it? Hold on a minute. It popped up on my screen. There we go. All right, there we go. So there you go. Click that QR code, ladies and gentlemen, and it'll take you straight to Captain's Quarters Podcast, YouTube. And you can follow us. You can like us. You can subscribe to us. That way you'll be in the know for every week that we try to do a grand show Monday nights at 8 p.m. Thank you very much, Davey. Thank you.
There we go. Now we're back on.
Yeah, I think we're on, right? Yep.
Yeah, back on Instagram. It booted us.
Let's see. I see Zachary and Jim and Blackball and Will the Historian. Very good. I know that Will the Historian is probably very tired because they have a new baby in their life. Aren't they lucky? All past that. So let's start off with a little bit of humor. With Mini Mayhem. Do we have a Mini Mayhem this week?
Oh, of course, we always have Mini Mayhem.
All right, let's
Ahoy, mates. Mini Mayhem here with Joke of the Week. Sponsored by our good friend, Travis Rami of Salt City Comics. Why should you always fear a pirate duck? Think about it, and I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
Hey, did you see the picture of Mini Mayhem with the mermaids in the pictures I sent you?
Yes.
I was trying to think if I could figure out where it was real quick and I could pop it up there. Let's see. There we go. Let me see if I can find it. Here, hold on. I'm looking now. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I just took that zip drive out. I'll have to go back and look for it another time. Or maybe while you're doing the next segment, which is This Week in Nautical History. Davey, let's do This Week in Nautical History, and it is sponsored by our good friends at the Ancient City Sirens. You need a good dance troupe? These are the gals to get you going. Bring them in, ladies and gentlemen. But for now, Davey, give us This Week in Nautical History. Whoa.
We begin This Week in Nautical History on May 12, 1942. Nazi U-boat sinks American cargo ship at mouth of Mississippi River. May 13th, 1939. SS St. Louis departs Hamburg, Germany, with 937 Jewish refugees bound for Havana, Cuba. Authorities refused to admit them, and most of the passengers returned to Europe. May 14th, 2005, former USS America, a decommissioned supercarrier of the U.S. Navy, deliberately sunk in the Atlantic Ocean after 4 weeks of live fire exercises. Largest ship ever to be disposed of as a target in a military exercise. May 15th, 1862, Confederate ship Alabama launched as the Enrica at Birkenhead, England, where she had been built in secret. May 16th, 1922, White Star Liner Majestic completes 5.5-day maiden voyage from Southampton, England to New York City. May 17th, 1987, USS Stark hit by Iraqi missiles. 37 sailors die. And finally, on May 18th, 1596, Dutch explorer William Barentz sets off from Amsterdam on his third expedition to try to find a northwest passage through the Arctic. And that was This Week in Nautical History.
Ah, very good, Davey. I found that picture, by the way. Here, let me put that up there. There's Minnie Mayhem. Look at him sitting there all happy, hanging out with the mermaids. Yeah. That mini mermaid, he sure is enjoying himself. Aye, very good. All right, let me get back to everything else here. Perfect. So, after This Week in Nautical History, we always like to come up with a quote of the week. Davey, did you come up with a quote of the week?
I did. And who sponsors it?
And Spyglass Travel sponsors the quote of the week. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you want a really good tour of St. Augustine? Why, you have to call up Spyglass Travel. They give you not only a great tour, but a great cardio workout because it's about an hour's worth of walking all through the city. So go ahead and put it up there. Davey, what do we got for a quote? The reason people find it so hard to be happy is that they always see the past better than it was, the present worse than it is, and the future less resolved than it will be. Marcel Pagnol. That's an interesting quote. I like that. That's a good one. You're right. We're always saying, aye, we remember the day. But it's not always the same.
Nope.
Jim puts up, Minnie Mayhem answer, be very afraid of a pirate. You never know when they'll release the Quacken.
Yes.
So that might be our answer.
That might
The
be the answer.
Quacken. Well, we'll find out at the end of the show. The Quacken. That sounds like maybe Elmer Fudd said that. Be very, very quiet. We might be hunting quackens. Very good. Always in motion, the future is. That's a good point there, Will, the historian. Very good point indeed. So, it's 8 bells time. Do we have 4 this week?
We have 4.
All right. So, let's do 4 8 bells. And when it's sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Thank you for catching up on that. Marco's Pizza, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a really good pizza, which we had some last night, I ordered some pizza because my granddaughter, both my granddaughters were here visiting with their grandma. Kayla and Lily came over, and I bought pizza for them. And it was good. We tried their garden pizza, which I always like, and we tried their white cheesy pizza. Very good. So if you want a good pizza, call up Marco's Pizza. We highly recommend it. On that note, what do we got? James Foley, an American film director. His 1986 film At Close Range was entered into the 36th Berlin International Film Festival. Other films he directed included Glengarry Glen Ross, based on the play of the same name by David Mamet, and The Chamber, based on the novel of the same name by author John Grisham. He also directed the 2 sequels to 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, 50 Shades Freed. He also directed for television, including 12 episodes of the Netflix series House of Cards. He was 71 years old. Chester Earl Lemon, an American professional baseball outfielder. He played 16 seasons in Major League Baseball, beginning with the Chicago White Sox in 75, where he played for 6 years. He was then traded to the Detroit Tigers, where he played the rest of his career from 82 to 90. He led the American League with 44 doubles in 1979 and also led the league in times hit by pitch 4 times, including a career-high 200 HBPs in 83. After his playing career ended, he became a baseball instructor and coach. He was 70 years old. Jonathan Edwards, professionally known as John Edwards, was an American soul singer who had a moderately successful solo career before becoming lead singer of the Spinners from 77 to 2000. Edwards' first archived chart success when Stop This Merry-Go-Round reached number 45 on the Billboard R&B chart in 73. He was 80 years old. Greg Canham was an American special makeup effects artist. He was the recipient of several accolades, including 5 Academy Awards and 2 Saturn Awards, and has been nominated for 4 Primetime Emmy Awards and 4 BAFTA Awards. Canham was best known for his work on the film Hook, 1991, Bram Stoker Dracula, 92, Mrs. Doubtfire, 93, The Mask, 94, Titanic, 97, Bicentennial Man, 99, Hannibal, 2001, The Passion of Christ, 2004, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008, and Vice, 2018. For his contributions, he was honored with an Academy Award for Technical Achievement in 2005 and a Lifetime Achievement Award given by the Makeup Artists and Hairstylists Guild in 2018. He was 73 years old. And to all 4 of these, to their families, their friends, and their fans, they will be missed, but they will not be forgotten. Aye. 8 bells, Davy. Very good, very good. We go right into this week in history.
Where does the captain take his hungry crew for a good lunch special? Why, Dick's Wings. Daily lunch specials even a pirate could afford. Why, look, a table filled with flavors and tastes for even the most discriminating of pirates. A great lunch and a great time is always had by all at Dick's Wings, St. Augustine, Florida, US 1 South.
We begin this week in history on May 12, 2002. Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter arrives in Cuba for a 5-day visit with Fidel Castro, becoming the first president of the United States in or out of office to visit the island since Castro's 1959 revolution. May 13, 1846, U.S. Congress votes in favor of President James K. Polk's request to declare war on Mexico over border disputes. May 14, 1938, The Adventures of Robin Hood, directed by Michael Curtiz and William Kiley, and starring Errol Flynn and Olivia de Havilland, premieres. May 15, 1841, first immigrant wagon train to make it to California leaves Independence, Missouri, on a 1,730-mile journey over the Sierra Nevada. May 16, 1876, pharmacist Charles E. Hires presents Hires Root Beer at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. May 17, 1900, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is first published by L. Frank Baum with illustrations by William Wallace Dinslow in Chicago. And finally, on May 18, 1980, eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington State triggers the largest landslide in history, killing 57 people and causing over $1 billion in damage. And that was this week in history.
Very good, Davey. Some of those were interesting. I did not know the one of The Wizard of Oz, 1900. Interesting. It is time for a shot across the bow, and I have just a very short one. And it's just something that occurred to me today. So I didn't really write anything, so I'm going to speak off the cuff and from the heart. There's a new pope in town. I didn't think I would say it that way, but I did. There is a new pope. They've chosen a new pope. And for the Catholic people, for many of them, this is a grand thing for them. It is wonderful. For those of us, or those of the people on the other side who are not Catholic, maybe it's not such a grand thing. Who knows? But the negative rhetoric that's coming out of so many people about how he's the wrong man for the job, or he's got certain things in his past that's not proper. He shouldn't have been named the Pope. If you're not Catholic, it's really none of your business. We heard the same thing when Queen Elizabeth of England died. There were a lot of people that wanted to have their say about negativity of the British Empire and Queen Elizabeth and her reign and the things that she said. And they wanted to boycott her funeral. Some of the same things were said about the Pope that just passed and his funeral being last week. So many people jump on the bandwagon of downplaying all our leaders. It's happening in this country here too. It just proves a hugely obvious point. We can't seem to get along because we can't seem to leave the past. I was always taught that you never speak ill of the dead. I've had a few people here in St. Augustine that I didn't get along with for many reasons. And when they passed, I refused to say anything negative about them. I wish we could do the same thing with our world leaders. It doesn't serve any purpose. If you're not Catholic, what do you care? I'm not British, although there is some in my bloodline, but some of the things that were said about Queen Elizabeth were just unfair. And some of the things, because I've gotten into this habit of just kind of doing a little check on things, and some of the things being said by some of the about some of the world leaders are actually, frankly, not true at all. And just a simple couple of keystrokes of the keyboard, you can actually find that out. But people have grown too lazy to do that. It is far easier to stir the pot than to let it cook properly. So why worry about it? I don't know that there's a solution, because most people don't want a solution when it comes to this particular issue. They're going to talk bad no matter what. And the ones that do, and then you throw facts in their face, they scream even louder. And you can see that in the media. When they are proven to not be true, then they scream even louder because they realize they probably aren't true anyway. The Pope or the Catholic Church, he sounds to me like a fine man. I saw some really, really ugly pictures today put on Facebook by somebody who was obviously not Catholic and may not have even been Christian. And they were ugly memes, ugly pictures, whatever, however you want to put it. Stop. That's all I can say. Stop. It doesn't serve a purpose. The Catholics are happy. Their church is moving in the direction that many of them believe. But like all politics, civics, and political ideas, not everybody's going to be happy. And we can take that wisdom from the great P.T. Barnum. You can't make everybody happy, that's for sure. So, mind what you say. Don't jump on the bandwagon just because it looks good. And remember, our world leaders are human beings too. They're subject to the same life challenges that we are. We hold them up in higher esteem. We hope they will act that way, but it's not always true. And I think the one other thing that really ruins all of that is that social media is in our face, whether we want it or not. Somewhere along the line, we're going to have to start paying attention to how we use social media properly. So, Will the historian says the new Pope is a Cubs fan. Of course he's a Cubs fan. Part of his roots are Chicago. Aye. And his speech to the world, ladies and gentlemen, I read this afternoon, and I thought it was very poignant, and I think it's very important. Now, and he wasn't just talking to Catholics in this one; he was talking to all Christians. So, Christians, get off your high horse. Catholics, stop taking offense, and non-Christians, leave it alone. That's enough said for the captain's shot across the bow. Thank you very much. Good timing there, Davy. And Blackball says, haven't seen much negative of him. Then again, haven't looked that deeply into him. Only thing even lightly humorous would be his similar appearance of Ian Well, see, and that's neither negative nor positive. That's humorous in a fun way, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Very good. On the horizon. Oh, Davey, I haven't told you this, and this is on the horizon, so I'll tell you. Remember our good friend, Mr. Sears? Donna?
Yes, he's in town.
Is he in town this week?
He will be coming in town because they're having their reunion, high school.
Right. And he will be in town for 2 Mondays. So I'm trying to peg him down into which Monday we might be able to get him to come and sit here in the Captain's Quarters podcast. So we'll see if that's going to happen soon. Mandy has been working on a band, right?
A band?
The dude from New Zealand that you were supposed to email.
Yes. So we're working on that possibility. My wife, Kara, has some friends that are in an AC/DC tribute band and would like to be on our show. So we've got some really good ones working on. And with the museum now slowing down, I have many more hours to really work on figuring out what we can do about some guests. So we'll see what we can do. So that's on the horizon. We'll see how it goes. Davey, do you have any videos or pictures you want to show? You always do. Ah, look at that.
At our photo shoot.
That was at our photo shoot. I don't know. I think that's a pretty good shot. What do you think?
I like it.
Hey, Mandy.
Badass podcast crew.
Mandy, we gotta figure out who the guy in the long hair is, though. And there's
That's
Mandy.
a badass lady pirate.
There you go. I think so.
Dare you?
Yes. Nobody's going to argue with her.
No.
Aye. Any others? There's a good one of everyone that was able to come down and do the shot with us. That's a really good shot. The wind blowing the flag out in the background and the Atlantic Ocean to our back. This area is a great shot, a great place to take pictures. That's a good shot too. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty one with the
sunset.
Look.
I caught a mermaid.
You caught a mermaid. I'm pretty sure that one you're going to want to throw back. There were some good pictures there. I'll show you. There's Minnie Mayhem.
Getting some tail.
I want to see if I can find something here. Here is. So this one here is one that
we had two wonderful photographers there.
Yes, we had. Let's give them credit, and they did really well. I'm going to show you two because I had an idea with this one here. Hold on a minute. I'm doing a couple of quick loadings here. So this is the one I want to show you first. I put this on the order page. Where is it? There we go. So that's not a bad photo, and I posted that on the order page for the Order of Leviathan, and even Talderoy, the main leader, was pleased with that. I happen to like this one.
I like that one. That's a good shot.
It is. I like that one. It's a good shot. I just like that one. But this one here made me laugh. Because
You got playing with the bottle?
I've got my mug upside down. And somebody, this showed up somewhere along the line over the last day or two, and somebody made a comment about how the captain must have had too much rum because he's got his mug upside down. I was thinking, you know, Davey, what we should do? And maybe we do it on our Facebook page. We take a picture, we show it on the show, and then put it on our Facebook page. And have people make a caption to the picture, and then the next week we show the picture with the caption, and then we'll put a new picture up. What do you think, Mandy?
That could be fun.
It might draw some people, drag some people, draw some people, drive some people, drag, or draw. Either way, right to our page, our Facebook page. So I think we'll go ahead and put this one up. And if you have a caption for it, well, let's see what we can do. Davey, you got any others you put up there? Oh, look at that. That's a good one.
A storybook.
Yeah. I like that one. That's a nice one. We could probably use that one. Very
we
good.
can do a lot of stuff. I just have
So we got some really good pictures. And we want to make sure, I want to do it proper. I'm going to make some kind of a banner so that we can give proper credit to our photographers. We had 2 show up that day, and we want to make sure that we give them proper credit.
Well, one is as a very good buddy of ours has done everything.
Yeah.
Whereas Gary, I mean, whew.
Yeah, Gary. And then the other one that took some photos, he actually, oh wait, I wonder if I have that picture.
Jeremy, right?
Jeremy,
Yeah.
That's right. Jeremy. And let me see if I have one other. I don't know if it's on this computer or the other one.
Oh, and just so that our audience out there knows, as soon as both photographers saw the Mandy Jo, and they got her to, it was told to me, she's got the scullery scowl. I mean, to look at like a badass pirate, and they kept wanting to they took a lot of pictures of Mandy. That's for sure.
Well, you have to admit, Davey, she is a bit more photogenic than we are.
Well, of course, and she did look very badass. It's probably scare a lot of the men. I don't know. Don't want to mess with her.
I can't find the picture I wanted to show everybody. Oh, there it is. It takes a second to download, I guess. There we go. There's me getting slapped by the great Vanessa Branch from Pirates of the Caribbean. We staged that picture at the Jekyll and Hyde event. And then there was another picture I wanted to pop in here. This one here. Some of you may have seen my post this past week. I ran into somebody that I was not aware was still with us in the world today because he had moved out of state. This is the great James Bullock. He was knighted by the royal family. He is an extraordinarily knowledgeable reenactor here in St. Augustine, although he now lives in Arizona. And back in the day when I first started, we were doing some events together, not just historic events, but entertainment events, because he used to do other parts. And it was such a joy to see him last Thursday night while my wife and I were at Cafe 11 for a concert. It was a wonderful joy to see him. We sat or stood for, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes reminiscing about some of the events we'd done together. We even did a radio program together. It was wonderful. So I believe he's going back to Tucson this week, but he has agreed to do a show with us. So we're going to try to get him on the show here shortly. We'll see what happens. But just our sharing of pictures gives you an idea that we do have a good time being pirates and being in the Captain's Quarters podcast. On that note, Davey, I think we should reveal the joke of the week, and let's see if Jim is right. Wait, what's this one? You sure you want to open up a picture caption contest like that to people like me? Remember, I teach middle school, so I never get used to use my funny comments daily. You know what? I accept the challenge.
Put it out to your students and let them get in on it too.
What's that?
Have him put it out to his students and let them get in on it too.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
your students do it. I'd be all for that too. Yes. It would be. I wouldn't mind. How are your students going to feel when they find out that your dad is a pirate? They might know where you get it from. I will tell you this. I always have to make sure that I pay attention, because once in a while I've been downtown not dressed as a pirate and started to say something and realized if I was in pirate gear, I could get away with it. But not being in pirate gear means I'm not going to get away with it. Probably get my face slapped or my nose punched. So I'm all for it. Will the historian, the challenge is on. We'll put that picture up there and we'll see what we can do with it. It might be kind of fun. So, Davey, let's reveal the joke of the week and see if Jim was right.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. Why should you always fear a pirate duck? The answer is because he has the power to unleash the Kraken.
Well, there you go. I guess Jim was right on. Very good job. All right. So, we don't use a video for guests on deck right now, but we do have a thank you video. Oh, wait, Mandy, I am creating essays right now. I am not sure a caption contest would fare any better. I bet. We might just have to have you on as a guest on the show, and we just talk about the strange things that students say. Because I can add some things, the strange thing that children will say to Santa Claus and or to pirates. It might be an interesting show. We'll just call it Kids Say the Darndest Things.
Yeah.
That might be an interesting show. What do you think, baby?
Yeah, I could tell you some story, but I probably can't put on because I taught special ed. That's a whole different thing. You want to talk about interesting things?
Yeah, that's it. And Black Bull wants to know what's the latest on bringing in an after show podcast. We are working on that now. Our membership, we had to. First thing we had to do was we had to bring our membership of YouTube and membership of Patreon into the levels so that they were both at the right way. And we made those changes this past week. And so as soon as we start adding our guests and bringing guests back into the show, we'll be ready to do that. We've had some other really cool ideas about how we're going to do it, but we are looking forward to doing that as quick as we possibly can. As I said, January, February, and March was just killer months for me. So we're trying to get past that now. I'm glad we have some interest in it. So we'll get that out. Maybe we need to create some kind of a banner we are going to create a banner because it's in our thank you video, if I remember right. Davey, you've made that and you made a new one. So let's go ahead and throw that one up there.
All right.
A Captain's Quarters podcast is always searching the world for history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a podcast, so we would like to take this opportunity to thank those who help keep the podcast going.
The crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davey Longwood, Cartographer Mandy Joe. Our charities we support: Agla's Acres, St. Augustine Humane Society, and Inc. Investing in Kids. The three major charities for support, but always room for more. You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to our Patreon. For a small monthly contribution, become a powder monkey, first mate, or captain sponsor. Go to YouTube and hit the like and subscribe buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
All right, good job, Davey. Good job.
I like using our real pictures from the photo shoot.
I agree with you on that, and I can think of a couple of things we might add to the thank you video, but it looked good. I love the new one. I love the backgrounds too. Very good. And our platforms, ladies and gentlemen, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, and Spotify. And by the way, I am now a bit more knowledgeable on Instagram, thanks to Mandy. She's made my phone streamlined, which means I can't figure out anything on it right now, but I'm still learning. If you want to just listen to us, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Stitcher, Twitter, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and I think that's all of it right there. I see Michael Dodson from North Carolina just popped in. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. And show our numbers, Davey. Good job. Good job. And ladies and gentlemen, this just popped in my head, but it is summertime coming up. And at least two of us, well, all three of us will be. FanX in Tampa is the first weekend in August, and Mandy has finagled a whole setup of passes for us. And Mandy and I will be there most likely the whole 3 days. Davey will be coming in for the middle day on Saturday to spend the day there. And we'll be wandering about doing everything we can to get clips and contacts and whatever else at FanX as Captain's Quarters podcast crew. So be looking for that. We're looking forward to that ourselves. Of course, Ancient City Con comes up at the end or at around the weekend before Talk Like a Pirate Day. And we are working on a Talk Like a Pirate Day event sponsored by the Captain's Quarters podcast. So be ready for all of that. I can't think of anything else, Davey. Can you?
No.
Yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're always looking for suggestions and ideas or questions even. Go ahead and catch us at Captain's Quarters Podcast 21 at gmail.com. If it makes it easy for you to remember by this little hint, Captain's Quarters Podcast started in 2021. That's why we use the 21. So catch us by email and let us know how you feel about everything. We're working on a couple of other possibilities of traveling to some other events. I've been invited to a couple of pirate events in other parts of the country, and I'm thinking about taking people up on those offers. So we'll see what happens. Upon that note, have I missed anything for the evening, Davey?
No, you have not.
All right. Mandy, do we have anything else to share?
Well, the Pirate Adventure place in Orlando was amazing, and I should
that's
have
right.
the
You
videos
went there.
compiled. Yeah.
We should give some credit to our good friend Ryan Lehue. He made contact with you and took you there. So what did you think?
It was a lot more fun than I expected. It very, very kid oriented, which was great. Like, I loved how much interaction they had with the kids and everything that was going on throughout the whole thing. And the food was actually pretty good. So
Now, Mandy, you saw the show. Now, when we had Ryan on the show, he had suggested to the captain and myself that we'd probably would do good if we came down there and we could participate in the show. Can you picture the captain and myself swinging on those ropes across the stage?
So they didn't let the patrons participate on the ropes, but they did have other things they could get involved in. So I was actually helping as a cannon master at one point during the show. In a challenge game and stuff that they had going on. They even got all the kids trained as pirates and armed and stuff at different points. But it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of interactive factors to it. And the actors come out early too and talk and interact with people and stuff like that too. So it was pretty awesome. It was a lot more entailed to it than I expected.
So Ryan was, the reason we went to Cafe 11 last Thursday night is because Ryan came into town to catch reggae artist that he is a big fan of. So we met him over there and hung out for a bit. Davey, Ryan said that you and I have to come down there. So we're going to have to pick a time to go down there.
Yeah, he told Mandy that too. He said,
Yeah.
So we need to go down there. So we need to make some plans. So maybe coming up here in the next 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, we can make a plan to go down there. Maybe Ryan will let us do a couple of video shots also, so that we can put it all on Captain's Quarters podcast.
Oh, I have a bunch of footage. I just need to get it all compiled. Like I said, that
Yay.
let's stay at the airport forever and not get home till late put me behind on a lot of stuff because I was too
Yeah.
exhausted.
Well, let's do that. You know what? I wonder if we could get Ryan on the show next Monday night, and we'll talk about the pirate dinner show. Let's see if we can get him on as a guest next Monday night. We'll see what Mandy's got to show us for the thing, and we'll talk about it. And then maybe, Davey, you and I will set a date with Ryan for us to go to the show.
yeah, he would love that. I'm sure we could go in
He would
garb.
love it.
Yeah,
Oh.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Mandy's going, yes, go in garb.
I went in my coat. I didn't have time to change into everything because I'd been in training all day, but I at least went in my pirate coat. But there was another guy that ran one of the medical treatment facilities nearby that took his staff out, and I was talking to him because he drove in a Ghostbuster car, but he was full decked, and all of his employees that came with them, he had full decked out in pirate garb and stuff like that for the show. So it was
Well, very
a lot
good.
of fun.
Well, you know what? Let's make a plan for that one, and we'll go ahead and do that. Sounds good to me. I'll send a message to Ryan. He actually sent me a message earlier today with a question on something, so I'll send him another message, and we'll go for that. I can't think of anything else. What do you think? And this would be the time where we would be breaking away and going into our after show podcast. So this is we're getting this part of it down pat. We'll see what happens. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to set sail. Davey, how do we do that?
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always, ladies and gentlemen, we can't do it without you. We could, but it's not as much fun. It's much more fun to have you here with us. We hope you enjoy the show every week. Come back and see us next Monday night, and maybe we already have a guest in mind, but I know we'll talk about the Pirate Dinner Show in Orlando, Florida. So, ladies and gentlemen, we set sail. Take us out, Davey.
With wit and charm they make it.